Hey. So we're going to be answering some common questions that I get on social media, and I thought I'd do it live because I don't typically go live on here. And I printed some out of the ones that I either get from clients or from people who've messaged me here after watching some of the videos about how to get live Facebook help and how that's not available to all of you. I know. I don't know why it's not available. Facebook says it is available for you. But I realize that not everybody can access the Facebook live chat support. That sucks. There's nothing I can do, unfortunately. And any of the hackers that comment on this, they can't help you either. So don't contact them. That's not going to be helpful. And they'll probably just steal all your credit card information. But in case you don't know who I am, I'm David Pride. I own a company named Social Impressions. We've been doing social media marketing for businesses of all kinds of different sizes since about 2000. Since about 2000 and about 2009. And so I've been very active in the social media world and running that company. Kind of started out on my own long ago and have continued to kind of build my own little business with it. I am not a guru, and I'm not someone who wants to be a multi-bazillionaire, though that would be pretty sweet. But the idea of having a massive company with 4 million different employees doesn't attract me at all. I really appreciate my freedom and my ability to make my own mind up of what I want to do and how I want to spend my time. And the idea of just having a huge company just doesn't appeal to me. So I've been doing this for a long time. I figured some stuff out. We're going to answer some of your questions, and this will be pretty quick. The first question is, what's the best time to post on social media? I get this question a lot, as if there's some magical time that is the best time to post on social media. The actual truth is that anybody that tells you one specific time is the best time to be posting on social media is full of crap. Nobody knows, unless we had a chance to look at your analytics and over a long stretch of time come up with an average. There's really no best time anymore, especially on Facebook, for instance, where your average Facebook post from a business page is going to reach 3% of its entire community on average. 3%. So do you really think it's going to make a massive difference if you post at 8 a.m. or 6 p.m.? Probably not, because the point being, you're going to need to advertise anyhow in order for anyone to even see that. So the best time when you're living in a world where social media really costs you money, unless you're one of the elite companies that have an organic attraction, most of us and all of my clients pay money so that they don't have to worry about the best time to be posting on Facebook, because they know they're going to be advertising the stuff that's important. That is a key takeaway. There's really no free social media game anymore. And I don't believe that there is a best time. And it certainly can't give one in general numbers because I don't know anything about your business. And so for my clients and what I've done, what I've found effective is I typically try to do something around the lunch hour when people are checking their phones and getting off of work. If I'm posting in the later afternoon, I try to do it when people are heading home from work or getting tired of sitting at their desk, 4 or 5 p.m. And then something at night. Right. And so at 9, 10 o'clock at night when someone's having that dual screen experience. But again, I'm not doing all three of those at the same time. I don't have a need to be posting 3 times a day. And anything that I actually need for people to see, I pay to advertise. I pay that post to be put in front of people in a targeted manner if it's something that I feel really needs to be known about. Because organic reach is very challenging until you've built up a massive following, which takes time. So for most people, there is no best time. Should my company have a presence on all the popular social media networks? Well, sure, that's great to think about, but it really depends on what your company is. Are you a plumber, or are you an energy drink company, or are you a public speaker, right? I mean, there's a million different social networks, or there's probably 7 or 8 that are the main ones. And in my opinion, the social networks you need to be on are the ones where your customers are on, but also the ones that you have time to produce great content for, because otherwise having a presence and not posting isn't going to do you a whole lot of good. And being on a social network just because other people are on that social network doesn't necessarily make a ton of sense, right? And so if you are a carpenter and you fix people's cabinets, then sure, absolutely, it makes a ton of sense for you to be on Instagram and showing off your work. But does it make a ton of sense for you to be on Twitter? Who knows, right? You have to look and see. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Depends if you're national or local or regional. Really depends on where your customer base is and who you're trying to reach. But no, I don't think you need to be on every social network just because they're out there. I think you should probably own your names and then, if you can have your profile be private or not appear, or just put up a simple message like, yeah, you found the right page for social impressions, but we're more active on here. And then you can tell people where to find you. So if you want to own them, sure, but you need to feel the pressure to be on 5 different social networks just because people tell you to be. No, you don't. Find the one that you have time to create great content for. Start there. You'll feel the momentum, and then you'll find the ones that you can easily slide into that are just adjacent of what you're already doing. How can I measure the success of my social media marketing efforts? Well, this again kind of comes back to, well, what are your goals for your social media marketing efforts, right? Do you want to grow your following? Do you want to sell more widgets? Do you want to just drive more traffic, or do you want to be better known, or do you not know what your goals are? So it really depends on what's important to you in order to know what you want to measure as success, because you need to determine what is success. And I think sometimes people forget that likes and follows don't necessarily mean that the cash register rings. So if you're in a position where you need to be growing your business, then you need to have goals that match that. But then you also have to have the realistic expectation that virtually nothing is free. So you're still going to have to advertise, and you're probably going to have to pay a professional to get the results you want. The guy offering you the bargain around the corner is probably offering you the bargain around the corner because he's brand new and doesn't know what he's doing quite yet. So money takes money, right? You got to figure it out, but you got to know what your goals are in order to know what the measurement of your success is. It's probably either going to be clicks, sales, or community would be my guess, right? Which of those 3 are the most important to you? And then we rock and roll from there with the goals and the measurements. Do you suggest minimum ad spend for your clients? Yes, I do. I tell all of my clients that if you're going to be working with us, you need to have an additional advertising budget for social media. I suggest in general, when they say, well, what is it? Well, if they'll tell me, I'll find out what their yearly marketing budget is, so I have an idea of the play I have here. But if it's your average company, with 10, 15 employees, then I'll tell them, if you want to just get started, we need to be looking at $20 to $25 a day. If you want to get more serious about it, then we grow it from there. Now, if it's a mom and pop around the corner and they have $20 a month, sure, we can work with that. Just don't promise results, or I just don't promise them the results of the same guy who spends, $100,000 a month, because there's the more you invest in ads, right, the more results you should be getting. And so I try to keep the expectations pretty realistic. But if I had my way, everybody would come to me with at least $25 to $35 a day, and then dramatically increase from there depending on why they're on the social network that they're on. If it's LinkedIn that we're talking about, I just got off a call today with a LinkedIn advertising rep, and he said you really need to budget about $100 to $150 a day. The average lead on LinkedIn, if you do their lead form, is about $100 to $200, sometimes as high as $300 per click, depending on how niched down you are. So important to know those numbers, so then you can say what your minimum ad spend needs to be for your clients. How does hiring a social media manager work? Boy, I get that question a lot. How do people find someone? What questions should you be asking if you don't have time to be doing this stuff yourself? I think, you need to decide what your goals are. So if you're using social media to kind of get more exposure, you want people to know who your business is and kind of be top of mind and have fun with it, and there's no real hardcore measurables quite yet. You don't need to be selling, $1 million a year of something or booking 15 appointments. Then you can probably hire someone who's really creative and a good writer and excited about social media, and maybe they're new in their career. If you're a plumbing franchise, let's say, and you want to have, you need to have at least, 55 employees, and you need to have a 6x return on your ad spend, then you probably need to be hiring someone with more experience, right? So you can ask some questions like, what was your ad spend last year on social media? That'll give you an idea as how big that ad spend was. Can you show me some examples of your work? Who are some clients you've worked with? Who's a client that you've recently worked with, right? Some of these questions help people know if they're talking with a social media manager that they want to hire or not, right? And so if you want to hire one, you can do the traditional method, or you find people on Fiverr Pro where they have a great resource. You actually can find me on Fiverr Pro. There's an easy way to find someone to hire to run your social media marketing. If it's a career position, then obviously there's recruiters and people out there. But I would say mainly you want to know about, can I see some of your work? What's your philosophy on social media marketing, and how does your philosophy fit into my industry, right? So some people are leads driven. It's a bit different than people who are engagement driven. So you want to know those things so that you can hire the person that makes the most sense for your company. So I thank you guys for hanging out today. If you have any more questions, just hit me up in the chat box here or on any other social network. I'm on all social networks at David A. Pride. If you watched this far ahead, then I hope you do subscribe, like, share it with your friends. If you have any friends who are wondering about social media marketing, I'll do my best to answer your questions next. Thanks, guys, and have a great weekend.